Hey everyone, this is a bit of a different video for me. I'm just going to be talking about my thoughts on the Concord closed beta. So I got into it this weekend, put a lot of time into it, and basically this is my unfiltered thoughts. None of this is scripted, we're just chatting. So yeah, let me know if you want to see more videos like this, obviously in the comments below. But yeah, let's get into it. For those who don't know what Concord is, it is a 5v5 PvP only hero shooter. I use that term lightly, but it is pretty much that. It is very much leaning into the kind of Destiny-esque PvP, just with more subdued abilities. My initial thoughts on this is it's good. It is very good. I have some concerns about it, but we'll get to those in a little bit. The different characters are very varied. I'm very much a fan of this. It feels like there is definitely a character in there for you, and none of it feels like anyone's too overpowered. Everyone feels like they've got their own natural foil. So there is characters like Baz, who runs around melee only with knives as well. And yeah, so she's very fast. So if you have got slow characters, she's a good counterpoint to those. And again, like I say, there are very slow characters like One-Off, who uses a kind of Hoover-based attack. So they suck up projectiles and items around the world, and then they can use that as trash weapons, I should say, where you can fire them back at enemies. My favorite ones so far are people like Lennox, who is a very classic, should we say, hunter-esque from Destiny. So they use a hand cannon, which they can swap out for a quicker six-shooter pistol, and then they can use exploding daggers as well as like a kind of alternate weapon. So a very big fan of them. They can also do self-healing as well, which is a rarity in this game. We'll talk about the healing in a second, but yeah, that's a good addition. And then Itzy as well is probably my personal fave. So Itzy is very much a support character. She runs around with an SMG, and she has a couple of abilities. She has one where she can send out a projectile and then warp to that projectile. So it's a really good way of A, getting around the map, B, getting behind enemies, or you could just use it as a distraction, so send it out and not use it, and like enemies think that's where you're going to go. And then the second ability lets you send out another projectile, which if it hits enemies, it comes back to you and supercharges your weapon. So like I say, with Itzy being a very support character, she is not the highest damage, but using this ability lets you kind of soup up that and do a lot of damage really quickly. As I say, a lot of the characters are really fun. The maps are really interesting. They are quite large, which makes it quite interesting. So you can get into different firefights in different areas, use the map to your advantage. So there's a lot of dodging mechanics in this game, so you can dodge behind cover and things like that. I'm a big fan of that. Like I said with it before, there is no kind of auto healing. So it's not a case of getting out of a firefight and waiting a few seconds for your health to come back. There are specific points around each of the maps where you can get health, but these are on a timer. So if someone picks it up and you're aiming for it, you have to wait like 20 seconds before you can get it again. So that kind of leaves a little bit of a plan of action into how you kind of take on fights. Talking of taking on fights, 100% recommend squadding up properly. So run as a 2-3 piece, because when you get into those firefights against a couple of people, you are quickly going to get outmatched. The way that they've built this definitely feels like you need to be running as a squad properly. By that, I don't mean like you have to be playing with friends. Like, you can just run with randoms. I spent the entire weekend running with randoms. And yeah, just make sure that you are kind of sticking to your teammates, because yeah, you'll have some that can do heals. So it's really good to have that in the fight. So it can kind of boost you as you go. And then obviously just that combined damage output is always really good as well. And it does kind of be it kind of turns the tide of some fights. I did find some fights where I was running as a squad consistently, and yeah, we would dominate, and then on the other side, running around randomly, you would get very quickly dominated by the rest of the team. Definitely lean into the squad-based side of it. Finally, some of the issues I had with this game. Like I say, as we mentioned before, right at the beginning, it is a PvP-only game. That feels to me like it's going to be a hard sell, especially when they're asking for £40, $40, however much it is in your currency. In an age where we are coming up on Basically, the FPSs are very much leaning into the free-to-play model. You have things like X-Defiant, which is free-to-play, which is doing great at the moment. Their new season just launched. You've got Destiny with a free-to-play with New Light. Not quite the same, but you've got Call of Duty Black Ops, which is going to be the most easily accessible game with things like Game Pass. There is a lot of competition out there. And for a game to be PC and PlayStation only, I feel like it's going to be a little bit of a hard sell trying to get people involved in this, which is a shame because this game is a genuinely good game. I feel like there is a lot here for PvP fans, first-person shooter fans. If you're a fan of the hero genre in general, so if you like things like Valorant, Overwatch, those kind of things, you're probably going to enjoy this. But yeah, like I say, there is an open beta coming up this weekend, I believe. So if you are kind of on the fence, I would say definitely check it out. Personally, I have had a ton of fun with this. I might actually be convinced to buy this just because, like I say, it is unique enough for it to be a good standout. I personally think the time to kill and the abilities and all of the different character designs are really, really good. I think Firewalk have done a really good job here. And I think my final point in this, which I've not touched on already, is the presentation in this. Like I say, the designs are really good for all the characters, but just the entire packaging for this game, I love the aesthetic that they've got going on. They're going to have lots of cutscenes that they're going to be releasing each week to kind of fill in the story, which I love. Like, there is a cutscene right at the beginning of the game that they show off, which kind of does a really good job of selling you on the dynamics between some of the characters and kind of expanding on the story. I think they've done a really good job of that. So yeah, all in all, I think if you get the chance, check this game out. I think it's a fun time. I can see this being a great time with a squad. There is a lot here to enjoy. Like I say, that £40 price tag might be a lot for some people. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think. Have you checked out the Concord beta yet? Are you going to be jumping in the open beta? Have you pre-ordered it? Let me know. And until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.